It tastes really good. You lit it.
We should just bring the bottle over here. I don't know why we're doing
Yeah. No one else is drinking the scotch, right?
I've got my bottle.
Oh, you got yours. Okay.
Oh, fuck yeah. This night's going on. Dude, I got to try that. You got to try that too. Wait, we're vamping, right? Vamping.
Yeah, we're vamping.
It's real Russian.
Bring it. We're going live.
Winter wheat.
I got my
Vodka,
fucking
potato
B. Arthur
vodka.
shirt, my Star Wars hat, and a fucking rollie. Refurbished. But I'm not telling anybody it's a refurbished rollie. Bought this shit new, retail. What's happening, people? Welcome to the Star Wars Fanatic livecast, live stream, whatever the fuck you want to call it these days.
That's a practice room. We're not live yet.
We're not? I think we might be. I think we might be. Hey, yes, this is an after-hours show. We do drink, we do cuss, we do go off the rails a little bit, but you know what we do? Every week, talk about Star Wars. Football. Go Cleveland Browns. How do you lose that one?
Well,
I don't know.
They're 1-1-1. They're 0-1-1. So that's a pretty solid record for Cleveland.
Oh my goodness. Well, I purposely pick underdogs to root for. So there you go.
So then, how come you don't like Dash Rendar? That's an underdog.
No,
if
I
there was
do.
ever
But
an
hey,
underdog.
speaking of Dash Rendar, I do have my B. Arthur Thug Life shirt on. We're gonna get into all kinds of shit today. There's a lot of new Star Wars stuff going on. We got our boy JJ calling in, one of the writers from that#show.com. Joe and I, you can find us both there. That#show.com. We are the Star Wars Fanatics. Thank you for joining us. Let's get you guys into the chat room. It's gonna be a fun night. We're gonna have all kinds of shit to talk about.
Wait, before you go on, I want to say this. So JJ is going to be joining us tonight. The reason I love talking to JJ, he has some great Star Wars articles, but a great mind for Star Wars.
Yes.
If you want to get on JJ's level, maybe start writing some articles for us, hit us up at ths@that#show.com. Send in a copy of whatever Star Wars thing you want. We'll read it over, post it. But JJ, man, reading some of his stuff, I love it. Like,
yeah,
oh,
me
man,
too.
I just told him we have a Slack group, and I told him
Yeah.
I don't remember what the. I'm sure JJ will correct me or tell me. But I messaged him in the group earlier this week, and I was like, dude, that article fucking killed. That was a really good article. Don't tell me what it was.
It was the Dash Rendar thing.
No. It wasn't Dash Rendar. It was, I know what it was. It was from the Han Solo Blu-ray stuff.
Okay.
When we're going to get to that.
And
tonight.
we're going to get to that. There's a lot of good Blu-ray stuff that came out this week. We might know the scene that got Lord and Miller fired. We had some great deleted scenes. It's following up The Last Jedi, which was the biggest Blu-ray to date for 2018 over Black Panther. I was really surprised about that.
Good.
And yeah, so there's a lot.
49ers, what up, Matt? We won tonight. We won today, 30-27. Sorry, Detroit.
How are you doing with fantasy football?
I'm number one.
Are you playing with the guys in our chat?
Yeah. Greg is in the fantasy football league with us. I want to say Ben is also in there with us. Ben Wolf.
One of the many benefits of joining that #show and Star Wars Fanatics are tight.
We are a tight group.
It's a tight community.
The cool thing about it too isn't just it's a tight community. It's like the people that you normally wouldn't interact with, like our fantasy football league. We have our own chat going. Nobody knows us on Slack.
Right,
We have our own fantasy football Slack. And it's all of us in there just shit talking and talking to each other.
Love it. I love
it. Sam, who used to be on the shows here. You already know Jezer, for all you guys that know Jezer. Sarah, Ben, Greg, Mike Marchant, who's another one of our writers. So there's a bunch of us in there.
Yeah,
it just goes off.
It's pretty great. I'm a little jealous that I don't know more about football and fantasy football because you guys sound like you're having a whole lot of fun.
It is.
Getting back to some housekeeping and what we do here at the Star Wars Fanatics, I want to give a big shout out to the Comic Bug here in Manhattan Beach. We come to you guys live every week. Several shows, not just this show. We have Joe hosts a couple of different shows that you can catch on our YouTube channel. Is this our only Facebook show at the moment?
It is.
It
is the flagship Facebook show.
Yes.
That's live. That's live.
Correct.
There's other pre-taped
We do
Facebook
restreams.
shows. Yeah.
So you guys check us out at our YouTube channel. All the links you can find to our social media at that#show.com. Again, big shout out to the Comic Book here in Manhattan Beach. We have a sponsor this show.
Yeah, we do.
We do. You want to tell us a little bit something about this producer, Junior?
Check these out. So yeah, these are keychains. I'm not Junior, but I know the rundown. These are keychains from Found Me. Found Me is they make some great stuff. But not only their keychains, they also serve as Wi-Fi or Bluetooth locators, right?
Yes.
Wi-Fi locators. Wi-Fi
Look at
locators.
that.
But not only can you get Star Wars, you can get Marvel, DC, any one of your fandoms. You can get your favorite fandom as a keychain, but also a Wi-Fi finder. These things are amazing. Get yours right now at FoundMe. Now, but for a few of you lucky viewers that are here right now, we're going to be giving this one away, which is
Who do we got?
a Jawa.
It's a Jawa. It's a Jawa.
Generic Jawa. We call him Jezzer. Jezzer the Jawa. You can get this live right now. Now, Ro's going to make a contest on the fly.
Yeah.
Eventually on this stream, and this is going to be news to everybody here because we're going to make it up on
Yep.
the fly. We're going to talk about one of the stories. And one of those stories, we're going to gauge the best comment. And you'll know when it's up because we'll put this out when it's up. And the best comment, we're going to give it out to somebody. So this is going to go to one of you guys.
Awesome. My boy Justin Lee just joined the chat. Dylan's in the chat. We got a couple of new people.
Wait.
Go ahead.
This is also, if you go to the website, which is foundme.com, it's FOUNDMI.com. Go to foundme.com. Type in the code #show, and you get 15% off. But tonight, somebody's going to get one of these for free. These are awesome to have. Take it. And also, you know what? Throw me another one. There we go. That's hands.
And this one's going to go to one of our writers.
Yes, I was just going to say, this one's going to go.
Who got the most? We'll give it till the end of the night. Whoever wrote the Star Wars article with the most likes, Facebook likes, and we can track those from the actual website, is going to get that one.
Yeah, there you go.
So who did that? We'll see by the end of the night. By the end of the night. I think we have a strong lead. Who wrote the DVD Blu-ray story? That one was really jamming.
JJ.
That was JJ.
I love JJ.
You're in the
all of these guys though,
Yeah.
Ben. I love these guys. These guys are great.
I want to say hi to Canada joining us again. It's been a minute since we. You're Canadian. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
People don't really know that. He's French Canadian actually.
Not French Canadian.
Who do we got? Who do we got joining in the chat room? We have all our usual
Justin
suspects.
Lee, who I love. Dylan, what up, Dylan?
Rory Van de Kamp. It's been a while. He's coming in from Canada. And we got a female commenter, Tina Hubel. Thank you for joining us. Tina, tell us a little bit something about yourself.
She says, here's what she said. She said, I volunteered at every event to raise awareness for brain aneurysms, and R2-D2, Rey, Stormtroopers, Rebel pilots, and a TIE fighter came to support the cause. So great job.
Awesome.
This is what I love about the Star Wars community. People like Tina that are getting out there, showing their fandom, and tying it into things they care about. Good on you,
Tina.
Tina.
Who else does that? The 501st does a lot of stuff like that.
Yes. You know what? I'm not going to take credit away because they do a lot of great things.
They do a lot of stuff like
With that being said, fuck those guys.
Fuck those guys. You know what? Those guys were supposed to send down a representative tonight. This dude, I'm Tattooed Trooper. This dude was like mouthing off in the chat room last week. Mouthing off. And we're like, come on down. He chickened out at the last second. Made up some shit like, I gotta be on an airplane.
You know why? It's because he knows that I'm here this week, and he knows that I'm going to Austin next week, and I won't be here. So I bet you he shows up next week because he doesn't want to be on the same show with me because he's afraid that I'm gonna grill the fuck out of him.
Oh yeah. Anyways, so there you have it. That's called a transition, by the way.
It's called a transition.
Joining us in his place since the 501st pushed out, especially you know what? Fuck the Tattooed Trooper.
You can't say pushed out. That's not a thing you can say anymore.
I can't?
No.
Hashtag me too?
Hashtag not correct. You cannot say that anymore.
All right, well.
You get, yeah, I don't know.
I don't know either, but we'll go with that guy, the red guy instead. The hip-hop trooper? Yeah, he's way better than the Tattooed Trooper.
Oh, we love Steve, though. But let's get to some Star Wars news. Yeah. What we call.
But I was going to the reason I brought that up, we have a better guest tonight. One of our writers in the chat room currently with a few stories on the website at thathashtagshow.com. JJ Abrams Goodman will be joining us today on the show in just a few minutes. But go ahead, let's get into some of these stories.
Star Wars news this week. First thing I want to start off talking about is Mark Hamill teases fans with the Episode 9 title. The only word we got is the.
We do know that the is in the title.
It's probably the first word of the title.
Now, traditionally, the trilogy finale has been some type of action, right? Return, revenge. I'm going with the reinvention of the Jedi.
The reinvention?
The rediscovery?
No.
The righteousness.
No.
The ridiculousness.
We're getting there.
Closer. I don't know. We've had some name theories that I've seen out. We actually had a couple of articles a few weeks back on some name theories. I would like to go with something and
Would
order.
you want to go with something
the something order, because we did Jedi and we did Sith already.
Mm-hmm.
How about the reckoning?
I mean, that the reckoning could work. It's also the revenge.
The reckoning of the order. Well, we've had Sith.
We've had Revenge of the Sith. We've also had Return.
Jedi. So if you have
that's crazy. We've had Revenge and Return. I'm surprised it's not another R.
the reprise.
The reprise. I don't know if reprise is a sexy enough word to be on a poster.
I'm telling you, the reckoning.
Reprise. Can you even spell reprise? There you go.
Reprise.
I don't know. I don't know if
The Rise. That's a good one.
The Rise.
Mike Brissett and Chad. The Rise of the Order. Because
Not
we can't
the Order.
Well, what do you have other than Jedi and
The
Sith?
Rise of the Rebellion.
The Rise of the Rebellion. Love it. That's it. Episode 9. You heard it here first.
Well,
The
we
Rise
just
of the
named it.
Rebellion.
Whoever, me and Mike together, if it's Rise of the Rebellion, me and Mike deserve the credit. Just gonna say right now.
Yes.
I think it should be the Rise of Rebellion.
I'm all good with that. I'm all good with that. That's not bad.
It's a finite. It's a definite thing that we know there's going to be conclusion here. Here's the thing and let's just talk about episode 9.
Okay.
Now we trying to figure out the title, but let's just figure this out.
There's a lot of
Is
speculation that's running around
How
right now.
much disappointment do you think there is if the bad guys win?
Okay, Empire Strikes Back ended with the bad guys
Ben Wolf
having
has Redemption of the Jedi. by the way.
that's not bad at all. Empire Strikes Back is my favorite of the Star Wars trilogy movies, and it ends with the bad guys. I usually use this in reference to the 501st. The bad guys having the upper hand. It's worked. What if? And I don't think this will happen because JJ is a fan service type of dude. He's a Hollywood ending
Is he
type
though?
of.
Because lost season 6.
We were just talking about this, and that I'm saying granted he wasn't a writer on the show, but he did have.
He was the executive producer.
He was the showrunner, the executive producer. He had say on how the series starts and how the series ends, and I'm very anti-Lost final season. Loved. I think Lost season 1 and 2 might be 2 perfect seasons of television, and we'll get into this on another show. We're going to do a show in a few months. We're working out the timeline called Binge Watchers. It's going to be all kinds of stuff like this. Going back to what JJ does and what JJ did for the franchise and the rebirth of Star Wars, I think he's going to patch up a few things that people did not like in The Last Jedi. And not by much, because it turns out that there's just a few loud advocates online who were not happy with The Last Jedi. Last Jedi was extremely successful, and the Blu-ray release proves that even after the criticisms of the live release, the theatrical release, that it continues to be a success within the fandom because the Blu-ray is extremely successful. He might fix a thing or two in the storyline or round up some loose ends, but what he's going to do is give us the ending that the Skywalker trilogies deserve.
Let's go to the chat real quick. A lot of people are chiming in about the title. We got DeMarcus. He says the episode number 9, #9. We have Purpose was also tweeted by him, by Mark Hamill. We have The Redemption of the Jedi, The Crossroads, trademark it. We should trademark it.
Yeah.
Justin Lee.
Yeah.
The
Should we buy the URL? Let's just buy
Yeah.
the. No, I said that. I said that out loud. Now somebody else is going to do it.
This isn't Star Wars. You can't end Skywalker saga with the bad guy winning. I agree with that. I completely agree. I said it's a what if scenario, and I don't think that JJ would do that. I mean, honestly, I do kind of think Rian Johnson might, though, if he were doing this movie.
He would.
Regardless, I do like the Last Jedi, but I do think he would do something like that. JJ said bad guys win prequels and good guys win the original trilogy. Have the First Order win. Keep the trend. What do you think about that, Ro?
I think that's a really good idea.
I think I don't.
Yeah?
I think the idea is interesting. but it's not. It's like it's a great what if, right? It's a great what if this happened. I don't necessarily know if I want that to happen.
But you in real life, you can't stop the machine.
Yeah, but Star Wars isn't real life. I mean,
what are you talking about? I dedicate my entire week to Star Wars.
That's true.
This is real life for me.
It's true.
I make my living here.
That's actually true. But what I mean by that is that with the Skywalker trilogy, saga, I should say, not trilogy anymore. The Skywalker saga, I think it has to go out on a high note.
Yeah.
Mainly because you get the trend that it kind of, even though I do think Last Jedi ends on a high note the way that it ends, but it also does invoke the sense of dread because Luke Skywalker does die in such a way. I don't want to say undramatic way because I do think it's dramatic.
I thought it was epic, but yeah.
You know what? He goes out as a gunslinger, though. You know what I mean?
Does. But see, look, in a way, Rian Johnson, and I know that freaking DeMarcus and Justin have their own feelings about this. A couple of very loyal supporters, good friends of ours here at the show, they disagree with us on this. But I think if Luke Skywalker is this trilogy's Yoda, he goes out like Yoda. I mean, granted, it happened in the second film instead of the third, but he went out like Yoda. I don't know. I'm just saying.
Don't disagree with you. I don't think Rian Johnson killed Star Wars. Listen, if anybody killed Star Wars and it survived, was the Phantom Menace and George Lucas. But it survived, guys. It survived.
Although it gave birth to my favorite Star Wars mythology of all time, and that is Justin Timberlake with a lightsaber.
Wait a minute. I thought your favorite mythology of Star Wars of all time was created by CBS television when they gave you your T-shirt.
No.
B. Arthur for the win.
For the record, B. Arthur Akmena is now officially canon.
I know.
True story.
But if you like T-shirts, check out our TeePublic store. We have some great geek shirts in there. TeePublic. There's probably not a graphic for this because it wasn't made for this.
No, not
but the
specifically.
TeePublic store. If you go to TeePublic, check that hashtag. Show me some cool shirts in there. I'm wearing one of them right now. We're gonna have Star Wars ones in there pretty soon. So support the show and check that out.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
Moving over to what we're talking about.
I just want to say that in the book, canon book, in the new considered canon timeline, Akmena is referenced in a short story in the book from a certain point of view. Now, Woor, the cantina bartender from the famous cantina scene, it's in the short story about him, says something about he was leaving work, second shift was coming in, second shift was a tough chick named Akmena who was married to some other chick. So she's not only canon, but she's gay. Just FYI.
Good.
So my girl, representing B. Arthur, thuggin'.
It's a pretty legit shirt,
right.
Actually.
Just want to say.
I want to move on to our next topic, but we got to bring JJ.
You're always cutting me off when I start talking about B. Arthur.
Yes, because that is
It's a
not
waste
great.
of everybody's time.
I want to.
All right, fine.
I do want to talk about something. We're going to meet the new pilots of the Resistance, but before we do that, I want you to meet JJ.
Let's bring him on
the chat right now, or not on the chat. He's one of our writers, but he's also in the chat. JJ, how you doing, buddy?
Can you hear it? Wait, I have him on mute still.
JJ, how you doing, my friend?
You got.
Let's bring him on the chat.
Oh, JJ, you're gonna have to mute us though, my friend.
Yeah, you're gonna have to mute us, buddy.
JJ, how you doing, buddy? Can you hear it? Wait, I have him on mute still.
We're gonna play.
Reverb.
This is like a time. It's like we went through the world between worlds and we jumped back.
Yeah, you're gonna have to mute us, buddy.
It's like an
He's gonna
infinite
do it right
loop.
now. We're gonna get right now.
Wait, I have him on mute still. We're gonna play. This is like.
Oh wait, hold on. That's a
All right.
different problem. All right. Technical difficulties.
So technical difficulties. We're gonna just.
So it just keeps replaying
that was fun,
the same
dude.
audio.
That was really fun.
Anyway, let's sort that out. While you sort that out, we're gonna figure out this.
Yeah.
So somehow there's reverb going on. You're an audio guy.
We got
you know
slapped
what the fuck
back.
that
Yeah,
means.
but you know what? I'm on my fourth scotch, drinking tonight. By the way, next week we will bring back Neft because
I'm not here
you're not
next
going to be
week.
here next week. Who's going to host the show with me next week? Who's out there? Who can make it to
I
Manhattan
already know who's
Beach?
coming. Corey's coming down.
Fucking love that dude.
You don't even know that guy.
I don't really know him that well, but we did hang out at the prom for a minute.
You guys went to prom together? Just kidding. We're gonna introducing the aces of Star Wars Resistance. Can one of you guys take his computer and figure it out to figure out how we get him on?
I think it's JJ's computer.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's on JJ's end. But if you can put headphones on and kind of work that out with him, that'd be great.
All right, so we're gonna talk about the new aces in Star Wars Resistance. There's just a few weeks until. There's just a few weeks. I'm going to read this real quick. This is actually by JJ. It's why I wanted him on this line. There's just a few weeks left until Star Wars Resistance debuts. To that end, Disney's pulling out all the stops with the marketing of the new show. We've already seen teasers and trailers and featurettes showcasing Team Fireball. All right?
Right.
Showing protagonist Kaz. He's racing for the Fireballs, and it's Kaz and Poe Dameron. We'll recruit a bit of espionage. This week, we meet the Aces.
So now, the Aces are like this ragtag group of pilots.
Sure.
Go ahead.
Yes. So, and the new featurette, which is on our website, you can go to that#show.com to see this featurette. We're introduced to the Fireball competition and the Colossus Station Protectors, the Aces. The Star Wars Resistance Force will focus on Kaz's efforts on the spy refueling station, likely pitting him against the Aces in more ways than one. Colossus floats above the surface of the ocean planet on the Outer Rim. When not defending the station, however, its pilots race their starfighters to the passing time. Now, if you want to meet the Aces, which is one of them is played by Donald Faison, you can do that by checking out that link on our article. But Rose, so far, what do you think about the Aces in Star Wars Resistance?
This is the Aces sounds like they sound like that fun group that we're going to come to know and love. But what's interesting to me about this is that it seems to be, as of right now, the flagship product for the new Disney streaming channel. This is what I haven't seen shows. I've seen a push for the new Disney streaming channels, but I haven't seen a push to get people to order this service like I have with Resistance. Are they leading with anything else right now other than Star Wars Resistance that you've seen?
No.
Well, there you have it. I'm glad I set that whole thing up. Thanks, Medalia.
No, they're not though. They're not. Yeah, that's true. They're not leading with anything. There's not really. I've seen promotion on YouTube.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen any televised promotion.
Okay, so we got this character who looks like the Greedo species, and then we got this dude with the TIE fighter helmet or whatever. It's a pretty eclectic group.
It reminds me of kind of when you look at Rebels, it had that
exactly
kind of like.
Now, the interesting thing about what these guys do, apparently, when there is no drama and no trouble in the galaxy, these guys spend their time like racing and pulling tricks. So, putting tricks on each other. They are really. It sounds like they're promoting this group as this crazy, rebellious uprising ragtag group of fighter pilots, and I foresee fighter
pilots. Yes, that's going to be a new shirt.
I don't know. I'm
just fighter pilots.
Hashtag pansexual robot fuckers. I don't know what to expect. They didn't give us too much. Can we get him on?
I think he's on now.
Let's go.
Right?
Let's go to JJ. He was supposed to be the one talking about this.
JJ, you there?
You guys there?
Yes.
Yeah, buddy. Ladies and gentlemen, JJ Abrams Goodman.
How you doing, JJ? JJ.
Well, we thought we had it fixed.
Is your mic off mute?
No, it's not.
Yeah,
My
it's
bad.
not. JJ,
All right,
can you hear us now?
Yeah, he's got it.
All right, that's better.
All right.
Welcome
so
to the show.
JJ, chat me up about Star Wars Resistance and this new team.
All right, so the new team, the whole show is going to take place on this station called Colossus, and it's a refueling station on some kind of ocean planet in the Outer Rim.
Okay.
And the Aces are the team that are hired to defend the station from all harm that'll come their way.
Okay.
Now, this is not the team that the show's protagonist is on. These are the guys that I think Kaz and Team Fireball are going to be racing against.
Oh, okay. I had that confused. That makes more sense.
Yeah, so like Joe was saying, these guys are an eclectic bunch, and I got a feeling already one of my favorite characters, without even seeing him, is going to be the ex-TIE fighter pilot. He's like the grumpy old man of the group, the way it was described in the featurette by the producers.
We call that here the Goldman.
You look at his ship, and that thing's just badass.
Do you think that his ship is going to be rival to the Millennium Falcon or the Slave One? Or the Ghost?
Probably not, but because you've seen some forms of TIE interceptors that look like that before, but just kind of throwing this thing together from bits and pieces of an old TIE.
Let me ask you real quick. It sounds like these guys are stationed on the Outer Rim. They're not going to be just up against the Order. It sounds like they're going to be up against like guys like the Hutts, just like the ragtag group. I've said ragtag like 7 times so far.
You like that word, ragtag?
Yeah. It sounds like they're going to be up against the scourge of the galaxy. Like,
Did you just say scourge?
Is that a word?
It is a word.
Okay. It sounds like they're going to be up against all kinds of villainous people and organizations across the galaxy, across the Star Wars universe. Does that sound right to you, or do we have any information telling us otherwise?
I think it does, and I think one of the original intentions with Solo that unfortunately is probably going by the wayside because of its box office draw is to work in the cartels. The Solo, a Star Wars story, focused on the spice mines at Kessel and the cartels, and you bring in Darth Maul and Crimson Dawn. Those are the outfits that all operate in the Outer Rim and even into the unknown territories. So, fuel was the driving plot point of Solo, a Star Wars story.
Right.
And here we have a whole show set on a refueling station. So, I see some parallels and some tie-ins there.
So
okay, hold on one second. We got a question for you.
No, not for him. But next week, I'm going to work on something special. I said Corey was going to be here. I spoke too soon. I'm going to put something together that is going to tie into this. And it might focus a whole episode on it.
Okay,
but it'll be pretty cool.
I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah,
guy. Yeah, let's make that happen. That'll be fucking special. But you know what? We'll get to that.
I do want to ask JJ another question about this. Now, a lot of people might not be on board with this. I want to hear what you have to think. There's some mixed fan reaction about Resistance. Yeah. JJ, speaking from the heart, what do you feel about this show? What do you look forward to, and what do you think might not work out for this?
From what we've been hearing, the show is going to be geared towards a little bit of a younger audience, and I think that's going to turn off a lot of people, especially if this is going to be considered canon.
Right.
There's already a lot of reluctance for some diehards who say, if it didn't happen in the films, it didn't happen. And it took a long time for people to kind of warm up to the Clone Wars, and once they did, they fully embraced it, because the Clone Wars, let's face it, was pretty dark.
It was.
Yeah.
There was a lot going on here in that show, and that was geared much more, I think, towards the older fans. If this, with the anime style animation and it being supposedly geared towards younger viewers, I think that's, if there's a downfall, that's going to be it.
Yeah, it seems like traditionalists in the Star Wars fandom really hate anything geared towards a younger generation. They just fucking will not accept.
Well, that's interesting because you're from the original generation.
I'm a guy who saw A New Hope before it was called A New Hope. It was just called Star Wars. Okay, I saw Star Wars in a movie theater, and I fucking loved Rebels.
Wait,
okay?
JJ, I got a question for you. What's your Star Wars? Like, what was your first Star Wars experience in a theater?
Oh, I'm with Ro. I saw Star Wars.
I'm the young guy in this
Star
group?
Wars in the theater in 1977.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. You're 11, 12 years younger than us, buddy.
Not according to the color of my facial hair.
I just look fucking sexy as fuck. So
I do have another question for you in regards to this show in specific. Are you personally looking forward to it, and how do you think it's going to tie into the overarching universe in Star Wars, and will it be worth watching? Those are 3 questions, not just one.
Right.
Okay, so yes, I am looking forward to it, because even though I tend to disagree with you guys sometimes on The Last Jedi, The Last Jedi is canon.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's part of the saga. It's part of the story. And, you know, I like to at least try and embrace everything that happens within the Star Wars universe. So I'm looking forward to see what it has to offer. You know, it's going to have Gwendolyn Christie in it, reprising her role as Phasma. It's going to have Oscar Isaac as Poe Dameron.
Very excited about that.
And it's going to show a part of the Star Wars era that we haven't seen before. You know, so this is going to be our first look at really what happens between Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens. I mean, that's a 30-year period that we know nothing about right now.
Yeah, very true. Let me ask you this, jumping on to another subject real quick. Do you have a copy of the Blu-ray coming your way for Solo?
I have the digital already, and I have this one of the special edition Blu-rays coming.
Okay, what are you most excited about with this Blu-ray?
Honestly, I wanted to see the deleted and extended scenes.
Yeah.
And there's one of the articles that I wrote this week was
Which is one of the most trending articles.
Is this the article when I messaged you on Slack and I was like, hey, dude, this article's legit?
I think so. You're talking about the one about the TIE fighter?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. I mean, that's when you talk about Han Solo's backstory, that's what we all wanted to see.
Right.
You know, why that got cut out of the film. And even the scene was a perfect segue into the Battle of Mimban. You know, here's Han being, adversarial to authority, doing his own thing. You know, that's why the one quote I put in the article, when we're first meeting these characters, he says to Leia, I take orders from just one person, me.
Yeah.
And then here he is, somebody's screaming at him on the comm, telling him to eject, and he says he can land the TIE fighter, and, typical fashion, the conversation's over, boring conversation anyway, he turns off his comm, and, the rest is what you see in the deleted scene.
So I'm going to ask you a question, and I want people to chime in on this. Who's the better pilot, Poe Dameron or Han Solo?
Or Dash Rendar.
Or Dash, or
You fucking
Anakin.
say Wedge Antilles. Okay.
No, or Anakin. Well, we could throw Wedge.
No,
in there.
Wedge is obviously the best out
Yeah.
of all of them.
Do we know that for sure?
Like, I think that's it's implied, right?
Well, he's the only one who survives through all the films. But what's your opinion? Let's just go back to the original question: Han Solo, Poe Dameron.
I'm going to piss off a lot of people right now and say Poe.
Oh,
That's good. Well, I like that answer. He's the leader of the Black Squadron. That scene of him ripping through TIE
I'm
fighters.
not gonna lie, JJ. I agree with you.
I agree,
I
too.
actually do think it's Poe Dameron. I think that Han Solo's traits. I think he's a great pilot. His trait wasn't being a pilot as much as it was being a swindler, and I think that was his definitive thing. I agree with you 100%. I almost think that Poe Dameron is the modern day Wedge Antilles if he had more personality.
Could Poe Dameron? I mean, I think it was disproven.
And I don't want to say more personality. It's just that the Wedge Antilles character wasn't fleshed out in the films.
It wasn't.
And I think had it been, honestly,
Would you have been upset, or would you have liked it if they said that Poe was a descendant of the Antilles?
I wouldn't have liked it.
Okay.
I wouldn't have liked it because to
I
me,
don't think I would have liked it either.
Okay.
yeah, to me, the Antilles name, it's a regal name in Star Wars, right?
Yes.
They come from, it's like a high class name,
Right.
And I don't think Poe Poe's character at the very least doesn't really represent that. But I feel that if Wedge would have been more of a factor in the original films, Wedge would have probably been my favorite character in the Star Wars universe.
That makes sense. I can
the comic
see you
book,
rooting
I
for it.
love Wedge.
Okay, so
Mike,
it seems
Mike
like in this
Brissett
room
the
we're all voting
comics
for
just
Poe
made a
Dameron.
good point.
Yeah.
Poe is talented and he's a skilled pilot. Han is lucky.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sounds
I agree
good.
with that.
But charismatic as fuck. Next question: who's more talented? We established in this room, the three of us agreed that Poe Dameron, the next generation, took what Han did to the next level. Who's more talented? George Lucas as a director or Rian Johnson?
Honestly, it's Rian Johnson, hands down. No, I take it back. Actually, I take it back.
As
I
a
take it back.
director.
I
As a director.
I take it back. A New Hope, it's George Lucas.
Yeah.
I agree.
100% it's George
In
Lucas.
Star Wars, it's Lucas hands down.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Because for a long time, the original Star Wars movie was my favorite. until literally, I think it was actually JD who's here now. I think we went to go see a midnight showing of Empire in the theater, and I've never seen Empire in a theater before.
Fucking amazing.
Blew my mind, and I was like, Jesus Christ! Now I know why this is the best Star Wars movie.
Okay, what is a better Star Wars movie? Phantom Menace or The Last Jedi?
The Last Jedi, easy.
Easy, right?
I think so.
Easy.
But I will say this.
Even I can agree with that.
I will say this, though. I will say this. Realistically, though, because I rewatched The Phantom Menace before The Last Jedi, that movie takes a lot of heat, but I do think
like
it is
The
a good
Phantom
movie.
Menace.
No joke.
I like The Last Jedi a lot better.
I think the movie ages. I think the CG doesn't age well. The story ages well.
I think there's some great storytelling in The Phantom Menace. And people...
It sets up a lot, too.
It does set
Obviously,
up a lot.
it sets up
People
a lot.
had the problem with the childish element, especially Jar Jar Binks. But think about what we got, you know? Jake Lloyd took a lot of heat for that movie. But he was a fucking kid. Back off, you know?
But it was also made for that era and that generation. It was made for kids. At the time, I was a kid, so it was made for kids like me. Or I was a teenager, actually. But it was still made for me. And I also did think that, honestly, and you think about this now, how great that Ewan McGregor captured Sir Alec Guinness. Like, he did a great job.
It's fantastic.
He did a great job of making Obi-Wan that, but also making Obi-Wan his own.
Yeah.
And I think that, honestly, it's very hard to say, because a lot of people will say, oh, who's your this, who's your that. It's very tough for me to say, like, who's your Obi-Wan? Because honestly, to me, it's Ewan McGregor. I
100% understand that answer and would not fight anybody if they said Ewan McGregor is their Obi-Wan. However, for me, it is the late Alec Guinness, simply because how far back I go, because he was my first experience.
So Mike in the chat right now, actually, this might be the best comment I've read in a very long time. He says, and this is a great point, there's better philosophy in the prequels, not storytelling. 1,000% agree with that.
100% agree with that.
I think that he hit it right on the head. I think in the prequels the idea's there, but it's not fleshed out the way it's supposed to be. And that's the storytelling process. He didn't tell the story the way that it was supposed to be told. However, the ideas are there.
Now,
I mean, look at it this way: the storytelling and the writing in the prequels had a line that said, "Kiss me like you kissed me on Naboo." I mean, come on.
You're right,
dude. That is that should go down. You know what? Your next assignment, dude, is we should have the corniest Star Wars lines. The top 10 corniest Star Wars lines from the prequels.
Or just from any Star Wars.
Or from any Star Wars film.
I think Ben and I are going to have to duel it out on that one.
Yeah, Ben. So let's move on to the next topic. We're going to keep you on, JJ, for the rest of these. I want to talk about the Last Jedi comic giving Luke an epic send-off. Now, what I really mean by that is, in the story that we wrote, it's like reading the comic makes it more palpable of Luke's death. Chat me up about this. Did you read that comic, and did it make you feel any different if you did?
I did read the comic in preparation for the article, and you know it gives the character's death a little bit more perspective, because it was so shocking for us to sit in a theater and see Luke Skywalker, especially like for guys like me and Ro who grew up with the original trilogy, but to know that this is Luke's path, and he's following along and kind of following the teachings of Yoda, and you kind of imagine these thoughts that he's having and reflecting on his past as he's coming to the moment of his passing. And you wonder what was going through Yoda's mind when Yoda passed on and became one with the Force. And you kind of get that feeling for this with Luke in the comic now. It was kind of abrupt, and you just see Luke staring off into the sunset, and you don't have any of that inner monologue or any of that insight. I think that especially kind of builds into what we're all expecting with Episode 9, with all the rumors. We know Mark Hamill is a part of Episode 9.
Right.
He's got to be a Force ghost.
It's got to be a Force ghost. It's got to be a flashback, one or the other. This chatter about him actually coming back, and because, to be fair, you know, we did see a new level of what the Force can do in The Last Jedi. One of the things I thank Rian Johnson for, he let the Force become more of a factor in the storytelling. And with what Luke was able to do, what Luke was able to become.
I want to go to the chat real quick.
Okay, sure. Go to the chat. But my final point on that is I don't think he uses that, the world between worlds, blah, 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 to come back. We just see a Force Ghost. We just see flashbacks.
Tom I hope I say your last name right, Tom. Puglisi says, The Last Jedi novel expanded my insight into the movies, and it made me like the movies just a little bit more. I kind of feel like that's a great comment, mainly because I feel like in a movie you can only get so much, but the novelization or comic can expand that. I think that's a great comic, and also.
And in defense of the prequels, it's one of the things I defend about the prequels is take Episode 2 out of it. Episode 1 and Episode 3 makes me like the storyline more. It expands on the Star Wars universe in that way.
It's interesting that you say that because you and I saw The Last Jedi together. First of all, it was our first. Is it the first premiere you and I both went to?
Yes,
together.
First red carpet premiere. Yes.
I was sitting next to you because I saw the Phantom. Or no, I didn't see the Phantom Menace with you. I saw the Force Awakens with you.
Opening night,
before this
preview night. Yeah.
And then we saw The Last Jedi. And I remember you and I were on the edge of our seats in that movie.
Edge of our seats.
And it's a little different from our perspective because we saw it with, and I know it's everybody that made the movie, everybody that was in the movie. The audience, the energy was a lot different.
It was way different having the cast and crew in the audience with you. Granted, we were sitting several rows
because the
back.
day before though was the press conference because we didn't see the movie yet.
Right.
And we were in the press conference. But I do have a question for you, mainly because this pertains to this. When you saw the movie and off of initial reactions, did you think it was going to take the heat that it did after your initial?
No, when I walked out of that theater, I could not wait to talk to people about it. I was like, 100 because at that hashtag show, we're pretty fortunate. We get a lot of inside information. We
By
break
the
a lot
way,
of stories.
I'm just going to say this right now. Some of you writers, you guys are going to Star Wars Celebration. If you guys are in that area,
Greg Evans earned his press
Wait,
pass,
JJ,
right?
what city? Where are you, JJ?
I'm in Rochester, New York.
Right, he's going to.
Are you coming to New York with us?
I am going to New York Comic Con.
One of the many benefits of joining our community, ladies and gentlemen.
We got to talk because I actually have. We'll talk off air. I'll message you on Slack about something.
Go ahead. Your point?
My point was this. No, your point actually, because you talked about watching it with that bass, and you talking about because it was a different energy.
It was a different energy.
And when you saw the movie, because I didn't know it was going to take the heat it did, because I thought it was a great movie.
Yeah.
And I've seen it since, and I still think it. I'm not going to lie to you guys. So I know a lot of you guys don't like it, and believe me, I respect the reasons why you don't like it because I understand them.
I understand
completely get why you don't like it. But I watched it again, and I was like, all right, let me really pick out the points that I don't like. And I agree with a lot of you. The Canto bite scene is too long.
Too long.
I agree with that. I understand why it's in there.
And it makes a lot of leaps.
It does make a lot of leaps, and it's a little forcible. I completely get it. But I do understand why they threw it in there. But everything else I found pretty solid.
It is.
Oh, except Poe. I have a huge problem with Poe in that movie. I've expressed this already.
Yeah.
That I think the whole thing is his fault. Because he doesn't take orders. He doesn't
take orders well, and
it's a miscommunication with knowing the plan, not knowing the plan.
You know what?
I get it.
Laura Dern's Admiral Holdo, Laura Dern, fucking great character. Probably I didn't appreciate her maybe the first time I saw the film. I was focused on other things. Really,
yeah, you were. You were trying to. Never mind.
Yeah, we'll talk about that off air. Really fucking great character. Really admirable character. Great leader, and I would like to see some of her backstory.
Did you almost cry during Luke's scene in Last Jedi?
When he, spoiler alert, when he fades off and and passes into the universe in his moment of peace and passing, I literally the tears automatically came out.
It's funny because mine almost came out when he says, "You're wrong. This isn't the whatever he says. The last that," and I was like,
everything you
motherfucker.
Said. When he said that, I'll be honest, and it just happened to thinking about it, I got goosebumps. Literally, Joe will vouch for how high the hair is on my. I never got. I swear to God, the fucking goosebumps across my arm looked like little dicks. They were like this big. They were just. I had massive goosebumps. Like I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I did cry during the Luke thing. and I hold it back, and I clean myself up, and I'm doing this, and I was like, oh my god, I'm so emotional. And then when the kid fucking turns the ring at the end, I fucking lose it again.
Yeah, that was a great moment.
Fucking
but
lose
also,
it again.
also, there's that moment, that cheer moment where it's it's Rey and Kylo together fighting, and it's like, yeah, fuck yeah. But then I knew it was short term because it's like, well, then who's gonna be the fucking villain? Snoke's dead. Like they haven't built anybody up, and I agree with you, JJ, and a lot of you fans out there. That is a problem.
It is a problem.
It
is a problem, and I think they're gonna have to get creative to fix it. But I'm excited to find out who the villain is. Does Kylo Ren go full bore because of conflict, because of where he is?
Okay, let's take a left turn on this show.
Sure.
We have a format. We had a lot of things to talk about. I do want to go to JJ here since he's on the line.
Yeah, I love having him on the show, by the way.
He's an insightful guy.
Because he's insightful. He can take the show for a minute while I have a drink. Go ahead, JJ.
JJ, let's talk about episode 9. And we talked about the title. We came up with some creative ones in the chat, as you already saw. Let's talk about episode 9. Where does it need to go in order to fix Star Wars? And where do you personally want to see it go?
Well, I think Kylo has to be the villain.
I agree.
And I think he's off the rails. I think he's too deranged and too he's too wrapped up in the Vader mythos.
Yeah.
And he's got to be the villain. And I think Hux betrays him. You know, I said that a while ago.
Wait, you say that one more time? You think Hux what?
One of the big reveals in episode 9.
Oh, gotcha.
Now, would you? Let me ask both of you.
So mad at me when I was asking him certain questions.
Let me
Not
ask,
JJ, but fucking Hux.
We'll get into that too. Let me ask you both, Joe and JJ here. If Kylo dons the Vader mask in episode 9 in his moment of fucking turmoil and hate and dark side, giving into the dark side, would you love it or hate it?
If he dons what?
The Vader mask.
If he actually puts on a Vader mask?
Yeah, let's start with you, JJ. How would you feel about that? Because it's something.
Like the idea,
it's something
actually.
that Abrams, that is not Goodman. JJ Abrams might do in the way that he, when you look at his work in The Force Awakens, it's something he might do.
I kind of like the idea because if you look back to the original trilogy and Luke fighting Vader on Dagobah and you see Luke's face inside the Vader mask, you know, I think that kind of would all bring it together like J.J. Abrams, that is supposedly going to be doing with this film.
Fuck, and then he fights Rey and he cuts off Rey's arm and says, "I am your father."
Okay, enough of the fan fiction. I think I'm split here because I almost don't want that to happen because I feel like when you're retreading a character, you're retreading a character. I kind of want Kylo to be a villain as Kylo and to prove that, like, hey, there's a reason why I'm a different type of villain. And I think we kind of get that with Darth Maul, but not to the extent, obviously, because we don't get him a lot.
Right.
We get that with a few. We obviously get that with the Emperor. But I don't think I think we need that with Kylo. I don't think Kylo's carved out his own path as a villain.
I love when Kylo Ren throws temper tantrums.
But I also
just think it speaks so much to him being a juvenile.
It's different because you got to also think too. The villain that Kylo Ren is, he's more of a. It's not carved out because I feel that we're in a very strange spot with him with being either I'm a villain or I'm a whiny kid. And I think you got to break out of that whiny kid thing, and that's stuck with him so much.
Yeah.
I think that he needs to plot his own course, and killing his father wasn't the case.
And that's something that actually Ben Wolf had brought up.
Okay.
Ben Wolf, one of our writers at that#show.com, actually wrote an article about this, and he's in the chat room right now. Anyone who wants to send him a friend request, hit him up.
He's gonna be like, fuck you for making all these people send me fan requests. But I will say this, Ben is also a great writer, and I do want to get Ben and JJ. I want to do an episode where they do a cross debate.
Okay, that would be great. But put my boy Justin Lee in that, because Justin and I.
Justin is my boy because he made me Dash Rendar.
Yeah, this man right here made you Dash Rendar.
Wait, JJ, you made me Dash Rendar?
No, it was Greg Evans.
It was Greg. Greg made me Dash Rendar.
Okay, but what I'm saying is, he and I love the kid. We don't agree on anything. So I want to see those three go at it. They're our most prolific Star Wars writers. right now.
I love Greg, by the way. He's great.
Yeah, no, he's great, and he's going to be representing us at Celebration. Well, I'll be there too, but one of the many perks of being on our team.
Yes, and this is going to be great too, because we're also going to be getting interviews with certain cast members, invited to panels, and all of us at Hashtag Show that can be a part of that is going to cover that. And also for all of our writers, I will say this, and Rose been experienced this, is that when we get those advance passes, you guys are the first in line to see those movies.
After me.
Yeah, I mean, you guys get those first passes before the general public gets to see the movie. You guys will get those passes. So that's a perk. JJ, I'm talking to you. Not Abrams, Goodman. Talking to you. We're gonna work stuff out to get you guys out here and watch those movies.
Anything else you want to leave us with before we say
Well, we're
goodbye
not
to
gonna
our
say
guests?
goodbye. 'Cause we have a few more. No. This is gonna go on a little bit longer.
Okay.
We have some content tonight. We're on fire. Muy en fuego is Anakin Skywalker.
Sounds good.
To call it,
Can we go to the comments for a minute?
We're going to go to the comments for a second. Where Rory, who's your boy, says, who's Anakin's father? JJ will be revealing it in episode 9. JJ Goodman will be revealing it right now.
Who is Anakin's father? Now, there has always been that, what was it, a Plagueis rumor, right? Well,
no, hold on. Table that, and I'm going to expand to that. I do want to ask you, JJ, since you're on the line, is there an extended universe character that you do want to see in episode 9?
I would love to see
Akmena. Done.
You bastard.
Okay, what? I'm sorry. Didn't mean to...
as one of the Knights of Ren, perhaps.
Who's that?
Ooh.
Raven.
Who?
Darth Raven.
Oh, Darth Raven. Gotcha.
Now, isn't he too powerful to be a Knights of Ren? And does the timeline work?
Yeah, I mean, the timelines are all thrown off anyway.
Okay.
You know, we've already brought in Thrawn.
Is Revan even canon at this point? Has anything been rewritten with him?
I don't think so.
Okay, so you can just introduce the name. I see what you're saying.
You introduce him, you know, coming out of the unknown regions as the new threat. You know, taking over the First Order from this petulant man-child Kylo Ren.
Dylan says that he wants to see Thrawn.
I don't know if that works timeline-wise.
All right, let's talk about this, because we do know
we
Matt
don't know
Smith,
how that species
Matt
ages.
Smith is entering into the Star Wars universe.
Yeah.
Is there a EU character that you want to see him as currently?
And do you see him as a good guy or a bad guy?
I mean, if he pulls an NSYNC on us, just kidding. I honestly, I will say this. I actually do see him as a bad guy, though.
Let me hit up my girl Amanda Lucas, find out what's up.
I do see him as a bad guy. I don't necessarily think he's going to be a good guy. I think Star Wars is doing something quite interesting. And what that is I think JJ's smart about this. And because Matt Smith isn't the only one that's been cast. It's a lot of other sci-fi geek big-time actors. But Matt Smith getting that fan base in there is more palpable to fans because it's another geek actor. And I think JJ's smart at catering to that because if you notice, that's the trend. And by the way, Matt Smith is a great actor. If anybody's seen The Crown.
I've seen Matt Smith in a few things. I gotta say that after Eccleston, watching Eccleston brought me back into Doctor Who because I tried to go back to watching Doctor Who. I took a break from it. I was like, "Oh, this shit does not hold up." Eccleston was okay. I appreciate him now more than I did when I first saw him. But Matt Smith really re-engaged me with Doctor Who.
Oh, shit.
In just a big way.
Time out.
But
sorry, didn't mean to cut you off.
Go ahead.
Rory has literally the best theory that I've ever heard. And I want an article on this, Rory. Please write for us. All right, or any of you guys that want to jump on this article or jump on this story. Anakin's mother, an actual Jedi?
Oh, fuck.
Perhaps Sith, creating a narrative that she was killed by the Sand People in order to push him to the dark side.
God damn it.
And what if she comes back as a
Dude,
it's like,
Rory,
this is my...
Let's just end the show.
That's a great theory.
Let's just end all the discussion that we had planned on the show, and let's talk about this fan fiction right now. If Anakin's mother was truly a Sith, if she was truly a Sith, would she have been killed in that uprising? Was it an uprising that killed her on that planet.
It was it wasn't it the Sand People?
Yeah, but she was like
she was a slave.
She was a slave.
Yeah.
So, would she actually have been killed, or could she have actually?
Well, she was
faked
killed
her own death.
She was killed because, well, unless she's a
sacrificed herself,
a super Sith, where she can fake like her death,
like
a Machiavelli,
like
type
Jar
of deal.
Jar, like Jar Jar.
Jar Jar's alive.
Okay.
Darth Jar Jar.
Darth Jar Jar. We all know that's a fact. It's canon.
But let's say she didn't fake her death. It was a sacrifice in order to say, hey, I need to get my son to the dark side.
Dude, let's make some images and tell
Tell
the
me
story.
that's not a great
That
theory.
It's a beautiful theory, and her character has really not been touched on. Shimmy. Was she hot as fuck or what?
No, she was not.
Oh,
but
come on.
She was not. But I do think that's a good theory, though.
Something about a woman in chains.
Oh. Whoa. You Jezra here?
Hashtag me too.
Now, I think that's a great theory, and I think that, man, that's something to chew on.
You stumped us. You actually took.
It's a damn good theory.
You took a little breath out of me on that one.
That makes the prequels so much better if you look at it from that perspective.
You know what? I want to see a recut, and there's some brilliant recuts of the prequel out there.
I would like to thumbs up that comment 1,000 times. You and me both.
All right.
Listen, I am going to
hashtag Shimmy's a Sith. What's our hashtag for that? Shimmy
this is going into our Star Wars Slack. And JJ can confirm this right now when I'm putting it
I want everybody to write their theories on this. I'm going to write one as well. Let's get this out there, people.
I'm going to put this in our Slack.
You know what? Here at the Fanatics, we contribute to the Star Wars dialogue.
Wait. So we got JJ on the line. And obviously, JJ, give me your theory about what he said.
That Shmi Skywalker is an actual Sith and set all of this up.
I mean, who?
I don't buy it.
Yeah,
No, you don't buy it, but let's sell it.
Who's George Lucas? Who do you think he is? You think he's Christopher Nolan? He ain't setting that up. But no, he doesn't buy it. But give us your theory on that. Give us your rebuttal.
All right, so Shmi Skywalker, I think, was the wife of a Sith, and I think she hid Anakin's.
Whoa! Are you pulling this out of your ass, or have you thought about this?
No, I'm coming up with this on the fly.
Oh, we got to hear this. This is good. This is good shit.
Put me on the spot. So
all right.
I think she was the wife of a Sith who was not supposed to have any kind of relationships, much the same way as the Jedi. And she
the Sith
was
sold her into
shunned
slavery
when they found out about her. And Anakin is the son of Sith.
Whoa.
Mall.
No. But that's a mind-blowing theory. Like, these are, honestly, you guys don't realize this, but you guys make the prequels so much better. Like, honestly, with the Shmi story, with that, it's kind of
Shmi,
like,
but yeah.
Whatever the fuck.
I'm just, you know,
Shmi.
Ben has corrected us like twice.
I know, I think it's spelled Shmi, Shimmy, whatever the fuck
Shimmy,
her
Shimmy,
name is.
Coco
Ben,
fuck.
I'm sorry, Ben. Ben, I apologize. I will beat you in fantasy football, though. But, just kidding. But I know realistically, that's a great theory. Man, it's a lot to chew on. I do have to ask you this also, JJ. If you had to, let's play a fun game here real quick.
Okay, let's.
What is something in the prequels that you do not want to see? Or not prequels, sorry. Something in Episode 9 that you do not want to see.
Yeah, I don't want to see nostalgia for nostalgia's sake.
Okay.
You know, I think J.J. Abrams could get away with it in The Force Awakens because it was revisiting the saga and trying to kind of rebuild the bridge with the older fans like me and Ro to get those practical effects in there. And, you know, it was. Let's face it, it was pretty much a carbon copy of the original Star Wars as far as plot and characters.
Sure.
You know, I think a little fan service will go a long way in Episode 9, but I don't want to see another rehash of the original trilogy.
But to be fair, I mean, the hero's journey is a story that's repeated time and time and time again. If you look at any Disney princess movie, Star Wars is the exact same story. I mean,
except better.
Exactly. I mean, you have your fairy godmother, Obi-Wan. You have your protagonist, which is Luke, of course. You have your evil witch, which is Vader.
I mean, it's the legit hero's journey. I mean,
Right.
that's the.
You have your ragtag group of supporting characters. In Cinderella, you had your mice, and you had the dwarves with Snow White. And here you have Chewie and fucking and Han and some Tauntauns. But yeah, same thing, right? Same thing.
I mean, Rob used to be on this show. He would always say, "This is really a story about the droid story about a C-3PO and R2," and that's an argument to be made.
There's an argument to be made that is told from the eyes. The story is told through the eyes of the dwarves. Dwarves. I said the fucking dwarves. The droids, because they are the consistent throughout most of the movies.
With that being said, though, I think that listen, us talking about Star Wars tonight really invigorated my love of it.
Yeah.
Because it's like, man.
I mean, without that fucking holiday
it's-
special, man.
Well, I wouldn't say that, but it's
right.
really like, man.
Is that just me?
The theories that people come up with do really make me think about things in a different way. The prequels, I don't want to. And listen, a lot of people shit on the prequels. Personally, when I was younger, I used to. A few years ago, I used to also. But rewatching them, because I watched. Honestly, I watched The Phantom Menace right before we went to go see Last Jedi, and I was like, man. This movie's not terrible. Like,
not terrible.
People give it a lot of shit. I understand the Jar Jar problem.
It doesn't hold up well. There is a Jar Jar
but
problem.
it's
but it fucking is a Star Wars story.
But also the message it was trying to send, and I understand what George Lucas was trying to do with the space politics stuff, because realistically it relates to now, right?
It does.
It was ahead of its time.
It's a time-old story.
I do think that it's going to be looked at that way in the future. It's going to be, oh, well, this was ahead of its time, because all the stuff that he was talking about with the trade and the Federation, that is all now. That's all happening now.
It is.
But
you know what? History repeats itself. Whether it's in a galaxy far away or it's in fucking America 2020. It repeats itself.
yeah, I mean, and also...
Politics are politics. There's the evil empire, you know?
And I want to announce this now currently. I feel like we've always talked about what spin-offs we want. A Sebulba spin-off. When are we going to get our Sebulba spin-off?
Wow! I thought we were still talking about a fucking...
I love talking about
Guillermo
the
del
spin-offs.
Toro
Honest to
fucking
God,
movie.
no bullshit. I love talking about... All right, JJ,
Okay.
give me your spin-off. Give me your spin-off and your pitch for a spin-off. Go.
Shmi.
For Sebulba,
No, for any character. Any character.
Who would
What's
you
your
want?
spin-off?
let's do Dash Rendar.
Yeah, baby! Dude, what did I tell you? How do you not get a Dash Rendar movie?
God damn it. Fuck you guys.
Dash fucking Rendar. Played by Ron Weasley.
All
Just
right.
kidding.
So I have my new anthology
Played by
film.
Henry Cavill. He's free now. He can play Dash Rendar.
I want a Shmi movie.
Oh God.
I want a Shmi.
As a Sith?
No.
That would be legit if that
Why-
was the case, though.
I like JJ's theory of she was raped by a Sith. I think.
Raped is a strong word because he didn't say that.
Well, he said wife, but I said rape. Same thing.
It's not the same thing. This is
not.
this is how we get into trouble. Actually, it's nothing alike. We do have a comment that I have to pivot from Rose. Ro being completely wrong. Anyone having issues? This is from Tom. Tom says anyone having issues with the prequels. You must all read the novels. Read the novels and try to forget the shortcomings of the movie. Read the books and see the core great aspects of the stories. Then the movies are just cinematic representations of these really great stories. I'm also suggesting all the prequel era books, brilliant masterpieces. Now, there's something to be said about that because I also agree.
And I disagree to some extent, but let's go on.
I don't disagree.
Okay.
Mainly because if you actually read the comics right now, they enhance the storytelling and make the storytelling better.
They do.
I agree with Tom's comment here. With the prequels, absolutely. That makes it better. Also would say that about any fans of or people that didn't like The Last Jedi. Read the stuff that was kind of in that era. I also agree with that.
So here's my take on this whole thing. Is like, unlike Marvel, unlike DC...
Well, Star Wars is Marvel.
It is now. It's all Disney. Even the Disney movies, all of those stories started on paper in literature. Star Wars was born on the screen.
No, it was ad-libbed.
It was too. You know, so a lot of stuff.
I love you. I know that's ad-libbed.
That's ad-lib. That was Harrison Ford. You can't ad-lib with George Lucas though.
Because all George Lucas says, "Oh,
Star Wars is born on the screen, so I always feel like that when you make a statement like what happens on the screen enhances what's going on in the novels. I think there's a little flaw in that kind of thinking, because Star Wars was born
fucking Ken Hickey, Shadows of the Empire. You're the man, because that's fucking amazing. I agree.
Shadows of the Empire.
Shadows of the Empire. No bullshit. No bullshit.
Damn it.
Shadows of the Empire legitimately should be, if they're gonna make another Star Wars movie, make an animated Star Wars movie and make it a theatrical release.
Theatrical or
theatrical release, Shadows of the Empire, and get celebrity voices to play.
It would have been better than fucking Clone Wars, the fucking movie.
It would have been, but Shadows of the Empire is such a good story. Like the video game was great. But
video game's great.
The actual story. Do you even remember when the toys?
The book was a little boring.
Oh, you're crazy, dude. Do you remember? They even made toys for Shadows of the Empire.
I had a hard time getting to the end of the book.
Let me tell you.
I will revisit it, because we've been talking about it.
Because it's fucking
on
great.
Every fucking show.
It's fucking great. But let me tell you right now.
It doesn't have Ekmena in it, but whatever.
Well, she's only in one thing, and it's not super popular.
But it's canon.
For a certain fan base. It's canon. That's true. But I do want to say that with Star Wars, the way we're kind of pivoting and the way things have been moving, do you think that JJ, how do you win the audience back from what Star Wars has done currently?
You let Rian Johnson direct the last film.
No, that would not be it at all. No, I think, like I said before, you can't go too heavy on the nostalgia, but you have to draw in from what you got to draw in from the core of the saga. Yeah. And I think Rian Johnson was too focused on being shocking and being different, and he got kind of away from that. And one of my, I finally came up with my perfect analogy for what Rian Johnson did with The Last Jedi. It's like when you got a pop singer who comes in and stylizes the national anthem. It's like, that's not the time to put your personal spin on stuff. You're taking the core of Star Wars. You're entrusted with that. You give it some fan service, take it in a little different direction, but don't be as shocking and as dramatic with it as I think. And I think if Rian Johnson had just toned it down a little bit, I think you would see a much different reaction to the film. A couple of tweaks here and there. And that's what J.J. Abrams has to do with Episode 9. He has to tie into that core of the Star Wars saga, really get to the heart of the characters, the way that the original trilogy did, and to some extent even the prequels, going back to Ewan McGregor's Obi-Wan Kenobi. You get back to that, and I think Abrams can do it. I think he can bridge the gap that was forged with The Last Jedi and kind of bring things full circle.
Okay. I agree with many things that you said there. Joe, your opinion on this subject in Episode 9. Does Lucasfilm need this hit? Do they need to knock it out of the park?
Yes.
Or do they need a critically acclaimed movie to justify the next 50 years of Star Wars films?
I don't think they need a critically acclaimed movie to justify the next 50 years, but I do think they need this to be a hit. Listen, the critical response, commercial response to The Last Jedi was not great. And the
commercial response was
not great.
It was still $1 billion film.
Commercial actual response, 1 billion people, it got that money.
It got that money.
But just because it got that money didn't mean it got that response. So the response wasn't great. A lot of people went to go see the movie.
If the response wasn't great, would the Blu-ray have been as successful?
Well, I think that's a different market, because I think there was a lot of people that did like the movie that are ashamed to say that they liked the movie. We just have to be.
Isn't that the bottom line, though?
Financially, yes, but was it successful? Yes. But then if we're going to take that into consideration...
You have to.
Sure. But then Solo wasn't a good movie. If we're talking in that terms, it's not.
Solo didn't justify
a Solo 2. However, fan response to Solo was a lot higher than The Last Jedi.
It was.
So you gotta take the good and the bad. There you go. They're not. There's. Bring these over here. These Funko Pops.
Producer Nagami.
If you bring the, if you come to the Comic Book Manhattan Beach, these are $5 each. But we're gonna give them to you free. If any fan of ours shows up, we will legit give you every single one of these Last Jedi Funko Pops. We'll make that a promise.
Make that a promise.
comes here.
Anyone who wants to just DM us at ths@thathashtagshow.com.
I will literally give you those.
You can, but you got to be here in person.
Here was my point.
We'll
is that
cut to the studio audience in just a second. There's 5 people here tonight.
my point though was that you asked about the wait. What was the
I
question?
think it's a numbers game. I think, do they need critical
Yeah,
acceptance?
no, absolutely. Think about, yes, absolutely they do. They need critical and commercial response. Mainly because, listen, right now, we're talking about a lot of movies for the Oscar, and me personally, should Last Jedi have been there last year? Yes. But you know what? Black Panther's in the talks this year. Do I think Black Panther was a great movie? It was a good movie.
It was a good movie.
But is it a great movie? No. It had a lot of cultural impact.
Cultural
And
significance
I understand
and
that.
cultural
But does
impact,
that
yeah.
make it a great movie? No. It does
But
not.
you know what?
It's for the
The
arts.
Force Awakens
And honestly, The Last Jedi is better than Black Panther. Quote me on that.
Yeah, here's the problem. People keep comparing The Force Awakens to everything else. The Force Awakens, in terms of success, is an extreme success. I mean, it's a $2 billion.
Oh, man. Listen, I'm not
it's
the
a
only
$2
one.
billion. It's a
Pete
$2 billion.
says here,
You can't
animated
say that-
Shadows of the Empire movie would be awesome. We all want fucking. Hey, how do we make this happen? Can we start a hashtag Shadows of the Empire movie? Like, legitimately, if you get A-list celebrities, bring Mark Hamill back, and bring in a lot of celebrity voice actors.
Okay.
It's a legit movie that would do a lot better than.
I don't
Solo
disagree,
or-
but that's a YouTube movie to me.
No, it's a real movie. Feature film.
Or not YouTube, a streaming service movie.
No, real film, actual screens.
Interesting.
It does better than Solo.
Do you think Disney's streaming channel is going to be predominantly Star Wars?
No,
What else they got?
Disney.
What do they got?
Years and years of Disney
I'm just
footage.
kidding.
No, I think predominant. I honestly do think though the linchpin for the Disney streaming service is going to be the Star Wars TV show.
Of course. Look,
and
Netflix-
exclusive Marvel movies.
Netflix built their fucking first audience off of fucking
Let me
Firefly.
ask you a question because I am on both of these shows.
Firefly was the reason people started subscribing to Netflix.
Let me ask you this because I'm on both of these
True
shows.
story.
And JJ, this goes to you too. What's a more successful franchise currently right now, Star Wars or Marvel? Like if Disney
Marvel?
if Disney's looking back and they're like, all right, we made a great choice in one or the other. Which one is it?
Bang for the buck is Marvel because they picked that up.
I
when it was-
disagree. Bang for the buck. It's Star Wars.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought
But-
Marvel.
but I'm a Marvel guy.
I thought they picked up Marvel as a penny stock. Wait, when Marvel was failing back in the '90s.
They picked it up for a cheap price and they've made a lot of money off of it. But bang for the buck, $4 billion. Listen, they pretty much made that in the first 2 years.
Look, I'm not disagreeing with
Shorter
you.
term,
Facts
they
are
made a lot of money.
facts.
But I want to ask JJ. JJ, what's the bigger bang for the buck, Star Wars or Marvel?
I gotta agree with Ro. I gotta go with Marvel on this one. I just think it's a bigger
I think-
franchise right now, and
With 10
Star
movies.
Wars right now is
Or,
mired
I'm
in
sorry,
too
10
much
years.
controversy.
Yeah, Fox really knocked it out of the park. But
Fox.
just kidding. That fucking Silver Surfer movie
I will
was
say
awesome.
No bullshit. I will say this though, Marvel is going to be the biggest thing because with the addition of the X-Men,
Look.
it's going to be huge. The X-Men is going to be.
and when
X-Men
Luke
Fantastic Four is gonna be
Skywalker
huge.
joins the X-Men, it's gonna fucking be amazing.
Honestly, listen. How far are we away from that rant that what's his name did? Like we're not super far away from that, right? Patton Oswalt. We're not super far
No.
away from his rant.
Hey, speaking of, is there a new Machete order? Was Patton the guy?
Oh
who-
yeah.
Is
Let's
there a
talk
new
about
Machete
this.
order?
Is there a new machete order for Star Wars movies?
He's always been the advocate for the Machete order.
I'm an advocate
he,
of it for-
he didn't
for
he
us.
didn't create it, but he was the guy who kind of made it like a thing.
Let's go to JJ. JJ, what's your Star Wars watching order?
Original trilogy.
Okay.
Actually, no. Check that.
Check that.
Rogue One, then original trilogy, then prequels, Solo, sequels.
Wow. Why? Give me an explanation of that.
Rogue One is one of my favorite films of the entire.
I agree.
Me too.
I think
Me
Rogue
too,
One
homie.
is brilliant.
I thought it was fantastic, and I love the way that it tied into the original trilogy.
And
those will always be my favorites.
How the
Those
fuck
will
did it
always
not?
hold my heart.
How did it not get a nomination for best cinematographer? Like, that movie is fucking beautiful.
Fucking A.
was
Kudos to
brilliant.
bringing fucking Donnie Yen, the blind swordsman,
So
to the
By
table.
the way, and me and Ro talk about this all the time. Rogue One is the movie with all the award winners in it.
Yeah.
Where Solo's the movie with all the A-list actors in it.
Yes.
But Rogue One, to me, man, and I said this, it's one of the best Star Wars movies there ever was.
It was, and another great movie-going experience for me. It's the only Disney release that I didn't see with you.
We didn't see it.
I saw it on preview night, and I gotta say, man, I jumped out of my seat during that Vader scene. I never actually jumped out of my seat in any of these
But we
movies.
wrote the article about that. That was
But
coming. You should have
God,
known that.
I knew it was coming in. And that's why it was done so fucking well. Why doesn't Gareth Edwards get a trilogy?
But you know
One
why?
of the best scenes in all of Star Wars.
Because Gareth Edwards didn't direct half of Rogue One. That was was half of the problem with
And
this.
you know what? So let's talk about real quick Ron Howard and Lord and Miller.
I agree. Dylan, hold on. Rogue One, no matter what we all say about how great it was, will always be underrated AF. I agree 100% with that,
Yeah,
Dylan.
it is. I think Felicity Jones could very easily, maybe if she didn't get nominated for an Oscar, should have at least been nominated for a Golden Globe. Her performance was fucking brilliant.
Well, Diego
And
Luna.
made me go, I want a freaking backstory.
Yeah.
I
100%.
want, when he talks about,
And nobody can
like,
convince
what
me that
happened to
K2
him
is
as a
not the
child.
best droid in the Star Wars universe.
K2SO is the best droid in the Star Wars universe. And I'm a 3PO R2 fan. Long live Kenny Davis, R2 forever. K2SO might be my favorite droid experience in the cinematic universe.
But JJ, I'm sorry, we cut you off early with your comment because I know you had something really poignant to say. What was that?
he
Now
doesn't.
I gotta
Have a
remember.
drink. JJ's drinking too, by the way.
My only problem with Rogue One is that the characters were so great that they're almost wasted in a one-off film because
Yeah.
you don't get to see any of that backstory. You
I
don't
agree.
get to see Jyn Erso in action. There was I think there was a novel that came out, kind of her backstory, called Rebel Rising. And that was a great piece of work. But that's the only problem I have with Rogue One is you fall in love with these characters,
Yeah.
and that's it because you know.
But look,
they all died.
No, he's right because I'm even more interested in her dad than
I'm
like that
very
backstory, 'cause
interested in his.
There's
her
something
dad.
interesting that went on there.
I'm
Even
more
honestly-
in Mendelsohn's character
Yeah, I was
as
just
well.
gonna say, yeah.
But here's the thing: when Star Wars has done a timeline jump. Well, I'm only thinking of Anakin, but and possibly you could say this about Luke as well. They always go back and pick up that coming of age story, and I think there is a great coming of age story for Jyn Erso because think about what she had to go through as a female rebel character in the fucking underworld. I mean, talk about dramatic. She's a tough character who had to grow up with that crew, with Saul Guerrero's crew of extreme militant rebels. What kind of backstory is there? I think you want to talk about an adult-themed, like Clone Wars style story that would fit. I want to see that.
Yeah,
100%.
That'd be great. So, guys, we've went long tonight. However, by the way, JJ, thank you for joining us.
Yes.
This week we're gonna do something a little different when we close out.
Yeah, JJ's 15-minute segment turned into fucking taking over the show.
Well,
This
listen,
motherfucker.
JJ, I want you on next week too, so be ready. I'm not here next week, but I'm just saying. And hey, since I'm not here, if we can get Ben on too, if we could do a thing, we'll figure it out.
We'll figure it
Hopefully
out.
Ben or Greg, either one of you guys, whoever wins in fantasy football, whoever's higher in fantasy.
But actually, we're working on the timeline. Possible very special guest next week. To
Yes.
sit in this chair.
But fun thing that we have for tonight is a countdown.
Okay.
And our co-host on hashtag show, Kelly, did a countdown for us.
Yeah.
Kelly, can you take it away?
Take it away. Take it away. Our girl Kelly She's my fave.
Over the past few years, we've been introduced to several new characters in the Star Wars universe, but we haven't really gotten to know many of them very well. So, we've decided to put together a list of the 6 characters we wish we'd gotten to know better before they passed on, and hope we may get to revisit at some point in the future. Starting with number 6, Vice Admiral Amilyn Holdo. Holdo was introduced to the movie audience in The Last Jedi, but she actually made her first appearance in the book Leia, Princess of Alderaan, a month before The Last Jedi was released in theaters. Given we only got to know her through her actions, we'd love to see her pop up again in a prequel, or maybe in one of the upcoming TV series. Next up, number 5, Rio Durant. Rio Durant made his debut in Solo: A Star Wars Story. He was a 4-armed Ardenian pilot who lived during the reign of the Galactic Empire. Durant carried out dangerous missions alongside the scoundrel Tobias Beckett for years and was good-natured and up for any challenge. Rio also makes an appearance in the book Star Wars Beckett 1, but we'd definitely like to see him in his own story at some point in the future. Coming in at number 4, Paige Tico. You may only know her as Rose's sister that died at the beginning of The Last Jedi, but there's got to be a lot more story with this character. While she does have additional material in some of the Last Jedi expanded books, she also has her own story with Rose in one of the Forces of Destiny comics, and the book The Last Jedi Bomber Command, which is written as a journal she kept. These gave us just enough of a taste that we'd really like to see more. Number 3, Taliesin Lintra. She actually made her first appearance in Star Wars Battlefront 2 before coming to the big screen in The Last Jedi. And though she didn't really have much screen time, she also appeared in Poe Dameron 28, The Awakening Part 2, and The Last Jedi Bomber Command. She really stood out as a character, and we're really interested in learning more about her. Coming in at number 2, Captain Moden Kennedy. Kennedy was the captain of the dreadnought that Poe brought down at the beginning of The Last Jedi. His gruff, no-bullshit personality was a standout, and it's a shame we only saw him for a few moments on film. While he does appear in the Last Jedi adaptations, there aren't any tie-ins that he makes an appearance in. We'd love to see what he was like earlier in his career. Coming in at number 1 and our favorite, Admiral Raddus. Admiral Raddus commanded his personal MC-75 cruiser Profundity, which led the space assault on Imperial naval forces during the Battle of Scarif. His flagship was disabled by the Devastator and then boarded by Darth Vader and his forces in an attempt to retrieve the Death Star plans, which had been transmitted from Scarif's surface by Rogue One. There's actually a ton of additional content with this guy, but he's such an interesting character that we really want to see more of him outside of comics and books he appears in. I'm Kelly, thank you so much for watching. To keep up to date with everything trending in geek pop culture, and for more Star Wars content, head on over to our website, that#show.com. Bye guys.
Bro, was time. But hey, great job, Kelly. Thank you so much for joining us. Hey, I honestly think that was a great list. Guys, we want you guys to chime in on the list. But that's going to do it for us tonight. You guys are awesome. Take him off of mute.
Mute? We're going to unmute?
I'm from Canada, so that's how we talk. JJ, thank you for joining us tonight. Any final words?
He's still listening to Kelly. Anyways, hey guys, we are always available. You guys want to join the group? We have a lot of people from the community.
Thanks for having me on, and I can't wait to see you guys next week.
There you have it.
Talk to you next week, buddy.
Thank you, JJ, for joining in tonight. We'll talk to you in a bit. So, back to what I was saying. We have writers joining us on a daily basis, joining this community, earning rewards, shit like this. We are always looking for writers. People. Well, all right.
Oh, wait, we should give it out. I got a guy. I got a guy.
You got a guy.
Who wrote that one comment that I was I'll find it. Hold on, keep talking.
So anyways, we are always looking for writers.
Rory.
We're always looking to expand. Oh, Rory's one of our homies from Canada. Rory. To expand our team, get involved with our private chats. We do a lot of fun stuff off the air as well. People like Greg, people like JJ, they earn things like having guest passes and press passes to Star Wars celebrations, New York Comic Con, earning free shit like this. It's fun, man. And we want you guys to be a part of it because guess what? Star Wars Fanatics is over 200,000 people strong. We influence the world of Star Wars. Our opinions get heard. Join us. Make this voice louder. Find him. He's that hashtag Joe. I'm that hashtag Ro. Did I get that right this time?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And we just like to have a good time and talk about Star Wars. Guess what? We want you guys to make a living doing this too. So, anyways, what were you going to say, Joe?
Rory, I think it was your comment tonight. You win this. Message us right here at Star Wars Fanatics, and this is going to be shipped out to you.
There you have it. So, Joe, why don't you take us off?
Guys, you are amazing. You guys get great interaction, great comments. Thank you so much for spending your Sundays with us. We really appreciate it. And the Star Wars community is better because of you. But thank you so much for watching. Please check out our website at that#show.com. As he said, he is Ro, I am Joe. Find us on social media. And please hit that like, share, and subscribe button to stay up to date with everything trending
in geek pop culture. May the Force be with you, people.